Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Views from the 22, live on the scene. We here, we here, we here. We got True Man False World reporter live from the scene. We got Vic Jr. somewhere in the background. We'll see him in a second. Hope y'all having a great morning. It has definitely been an interesting morning for me. We're going to talk a little football. We're going to break down some of these games. It's not really a lot to really talk about this week. I don't really think, I think we got a lot of in the football world this week. We got a lot of overreactions, things like that going on right now. So I think we need to take this week, take 4 weeks, put the 4 weeks in the books. And with the 4 weeks that we put in the books, we really got to focus on making not only absorb the good, but absorb some of the tendencies, some of the flaws, because there's no such thing as a perfect football team. Vic, good morning. How are you?
Morning, good afternoon in just 1 minute here as we get close to 12 o'clock. Yeah, man. Perfect team. Perfect team. Closest would be the Chiefs, but they got there's some little weaknesses there that obviously teams can exploit. But I got a chance to watch some film this week, kind of dove into some games and stuff like that. Kind of wanted to see some of the young quarterbacks this week. There's some good and there's some bad. I've obviously it doesn't take anybody, any rocket scientist to figure out that Zach Wilson is struggling right now. As much as we liked him coming out of that draft, it doesn't look good for his future. Germ, I don't know what you think about that yet. Justin Fields, same thing. Kind of some of the same things you see that kind of just seem to not be pressing, pulling the trigger on some of these throws that, are clearly available, clearly they're looking at. But I tell you one dude that looks fantastic and is, I'm telling you, out of all the young quarterbacks within the last couple of years, CJ Stroud in just 3 games has looked very impressive. Very impressive. So I don't know how much you were able to catch of him yet. We could do some more studies here, this week. But CJ Stroud, considering what the roster that Texas has, offensively, the kid is looking fantastic. So it's going to be interesting to see ultimately where these kids, of course, Tua as well is looking great, but so I kind of dove into the quarterbacks this week, and that's been kind of fun. But other than that, man, just ready to talk some Week 4 football.
I think CJ is in a unique situation, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think CJ kind of understands the position a little bit different from a lot of other quarterbacks, but I think CJ was also asked to play the position at a different pace or level than some of those other quarterbacks. Justin Fields came from Ohio State too, so this is the quarterback that he pretty much came right after.
Right.
Why is he so much further ahead, does it look like, than Justin Fields? Well, it's just certain things that you can just see from the way that he plays the game of football. Like, he has a lot of good football quarterback traits that transition to the field. The decision-making piece is probably going to be the piece that I was always a little bit more of a question, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But the decision-making piece, if he figures that out, that really helps him a lot. Because that's going to be the thing that's going to carry him into being either a great quarterback or an all-time great quarterback, in my opinion. And accuracy, I think the accuracy is there. I think that being able to throw outside the numbers is incredible. Some of the things that he's able to process in some short times, like the way he's able to maneuver sometimes in the pocket. These are things you've seen in college. So I think, of course, that stuff transitions to the pros,
Yeah. So the basic fundamentals have always been, because I didn't really get to study him too much in college. But it does look like the basics are there. Like you said, the decision making, like watching the difference between him and Justin Fields right now is pretty wide, that decision making gap, bro. And I know Justin Fields, I know that was somebody that was considered to be an accurate quarterback coming out. Above average arm strength. But I don't remember anybody talking about, in terms of the mental part, where he was coming out. But CJ, I didn't get to look at Anthony Richardson yet. But I was watching Jordan Love. I was watching Justin Fields. So their week one matchup, obviously Jordan Love came out, victorious in that, and he looked a little bit better. But this is a kid that, unlike Trey Lance, had a lot of experience, college experience at least, So, and then he had experience sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. So, those little things like that help. But in terms of, just like I said, in terms of these kids for the last 3 years, CJ looks really impressive, and it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm interested to look at him. I want to get some Bryce in too, because I want to see some stuff. I saw a little bit of some game stuff with Bryce that I liked. So I want to see if we can look at. I'll dive into some film on him.
Muted, but puppy.
Wait, why did Germ just get muted? Good morning, first of all. Good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon, puppy. Yeah, I don't know. It muted him earlier.
Yeah, it mutes me every time somebody, does something like call me. So wish they would just stop calling. Just stop calling.
Yes, I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
I won't pick up.
But you were about to get into something. You said you were saying.
Let's make sure that we get into some of these quarterbacks, but I was gonna say I'm really not interested in looking at most of them. I really am interested to see what's going on with Trevor Lawrence. That's who I really want to break down and study, because I want to see if some of those issues that we were talking about that we seen are still there,
are showing up again.
Yeah, and I also just want to see, bro. I just want to see what Doug Peterson is doing, because I think this is a Trevor Lawrence. Excuse me, because I'll keep wanting to say Trey Lance. Trevor Lawrence and Trevor Lawrence is like Carson Wentz with longer hair. That's not a knock to him, or not being disrespectful to him. It's just saying that's kind of where the situation goes, because Doug Peterson makes football fun for them.
Yeah.
And the more fun that you make it for the kids, the
You see, one of the reasons that I am late is because I was having some technical difficulties with a device that we shall not name the brand, but it still remains a superior brand, because it don't do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, Jeremy, you gotta go back to the blue messages.
No, I don't want to. No, I don't want to do that. Anyway, no. What I just need people to do is respect the fact that it's Sunday morning and it's time for views.
Yes. Again, I know the feeling.
But you know what? Ultimately what we got to do is we just got to go back to the Mac. But anyway, regerm of the Mac.
Yes, return.
So with that being said, though, like I'm really interested to see some Trevor Lawrence. I really want to look at those things, because I like what they're doing in Jacksonville. The offensive struggles, when they do struggle, though, those are the games that I want to look at and say, hey, is this Trevor Lawrence from Clemson? Is that guy right there?
Yeah, because there's sometimes those throws where like he's overthrowing people with that arm strength that he has, and it's like Maybe if you took off, you know, like in baseball terms, threw a changeup there, you might have been all right. Not the fastball all the time, you know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna catch up to it
Yeah.
at some point. You know,
does.
so I think a comparable, somewhat comparable is like Josh Allen, tall, strong arm quarterbacks that can at times, you know, don't know how to, you know, finagle between touch and throwing it hard and stuff.
Fair.
Carson Wentz too. Like that's a fair one too, because that was a strong arm quarterback. That, you know,
I mean, I'm
like
saying
some of the-
6'5", 6'6" is that's big. That's big boy.
Yeah, that's prototype. And then, you know, but some of the fascinating things about them was their arm strength and how even on a slant, they was gonna put it, you know, they was gonna throw that thing 90 miles an hour. You know, so but yeah, no, Mo, just kind of talking to Jerome about. I was watching some of the young quarterbacks within the last 3 years this week. Obviously, I would like to get to a lot more film, but in the last 3 years, man, you know, we got Tua. Obviously, we got Mac Jones. We got a lot of kids that came out, and I'm so far, like you talked about it a couple days ago. You know, Zach Wilson is looking kind of scary. I think Justin Fields is kind of trending along that line. But I'm telling Jerm about CJ Stroud is looking, in just 3 games, is looking very impressive.
Good.
Very, very impressive. So it's just fascinating, man, like how some of these kids you think is going to be better than others and you rank them, you know, accordingly. But you still got to play the game. Still got to show up.
Yeah. I mean, I think as we talked about, game's changing. The game has changed. And it is going to forever keep evolving. And it's just different now. It's just there are more opportunities to succeed with today's NFL for young quarterbacks than there was in the past. I would say that. But I mean, 2 of those guys that you mentioned, one of them is a comp, one of them who's come out in the last couple of years, are going at it today in Josh Allen and Tua. And I think between the 2 of them, you see like the whole spectrum of the scouting world, you know, because there were guys who weren't wowed by Tua, but there were people who were wowed by Josh Allen. And then there were people who highlighted that Tua has a good platform to work with, at least, whereas we felt, at least I did, that Josh didn't have quite the foundation. And I think you see Josh had a higher ceiling, but there might be a situation now, and I'm sure you guys can speak to this from just the pass it from the pocket perspective. There might be a situation now where, okay, Tua might not have the better ceiling or the higher ceiling, but he might have the better trajectory career-wise, just because it seems like he's just better as a pure passer than Josh Allen. Just my 2 cents while Jerm returns.
Yeah, I mean, again, I want to watch some more. I got to watch definitely the Denver game. I didn't get around to seeing that, you know, the Dolphins against the Broncos. But like we talked about before, listen, they put pieces around him, especially guys that can really run. The mesh concepts that they ran a lot for him in Alabama. The coaching staff there in Miami are using a lot of those mesh concepts. I mean, I don't know. And at some point, we got to start calling that head coach over there, whose name is escaping me right now. You know, pretty cool offensive genius, young coach right now. Because he's definitely putting these kids in position.
The Dolphins?
The Dolphins, yeah.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel.
McDaniels, yeah. He's putting these kids in position to really perform well to their potential. So, but yeah, those mesh concepts, man, they're really tough to defend when you got guys that can really run like Tyreek and Jalen Waddle could.
No doubt.
So
No doubt, bro.
let me just throw this out there. This was hard, right? And it's hard because it's two things. I don't know if it's Tua or the talent yet.
I mean, it's gonna be the talent right now, Jim, but
I'm not gonna
it's a little
say,
bit of both.
but I'm not saying that he doesn't get credit, right?
Right.
But I'm saying the trajectory. I don't know if it's gonna be Tua or the talent. To what Mo said.
Yeah.
That's fair. Trajectory wise. I mean, obviously you got to give Tua his credit, like you said. But at the same time, and you kind of see this with Pat, again, it's not a knock. You saw it with Peyton. At the same time, the talent allows the quarterback to grow. So by the time you get to a point in your franchise where A, you got to pay that quarterback, and B, you gotta be more creative how you allocate your cap. Now all of a sudden the quarterback is making the talent. And I think that's just a cycle of the NFL. You have to allow a space for the talent to go to quarterback. And then down the road, the quarterback starts to grow the talent.
Right. And I mean, you know, I'm gonna remain consistent on how I believe these things go. You know, I was criticizing Pat, and I wanted to see how he would do it without the you know, somebody that could stretch the field at the way Tyreek does, and the kind of fear that Tyreek can bring because of his speed. You know, Tua has that weapon now. You know, so I'm gonna give credit to that talent first. But you know, is there gonna be a moment when Tyreek or when Tua needs to step up and be that guy that's going to you know, make the plays, as opposed to, you know, the talent taking over where Tyreek is not 5 or 10 yards open in the middle of the fucking field like he was last week. And according so that, what was it, the 54-yard touchdown, according to the being mic'd up, you know, on the, I don't know if you guys saw it, he ran the wrong route. That was the wrong route, because Tua was like, bro, what route did you run there? I just threw it to you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, is there going to be a moment in his career where he's going to have to make tight window throws? If he's going to have to use some arm strength to hit the sidelines and stuff like that, especially when the defenses get tough on in the playoffs, that's when we're going to know if Tua really elevated his game to being a top 10, top 5, you know, elite class type of quarterback. Because, you know, we got to do that, because it's going to get tough. It's definitely going to get tough.
Ironically, if you notice, the center of this conversation, at the center of this conversation is the AFC East. Ironically,
yeah.
I think the one thing you gotta, to your point, and sort of to expand on this conversation, Tua, how do I say this? What was the last thing you said about him making the right plays when it matters most, right?
Right, playoffs, the tight window throws when the defenses are going to be tougher.
Here's a bigger difference, or one of the biggest differences, is that Miami is committed not to keeping the run game as a staple of their offense. You know, because again, there's so many different styles. The biggest style being that they want to go deep. They want to use their speed. So you almost have to keep your running game, if you're smart, a staple of your offense. Why? Well, you start to run the ball, they start to put more guys in the box. Now all of a sudden you have opportunities for things over the top. Okay, right. You want to go over the top. Well, what does that mean? More defensive backs on the field. So what does that mean? A lighter box. So what does that mean? More space to run the football. So again, it's important to put not just your quarterback, but your entire team in a position to succeed. And I'm not a fan at all. I don't know what it is. I'm just not quite a fan of the Dolphins coaching staff. However, I have to admit that they are doing a better job as a staff, label, and crew than the Buffalo Bills are. And I think it's going to be very interesting early in the season where we see this contrast in style, both player and coaches, how that's going to pan out, not just in today's game, but moving forward. So while, yes, you're going to need Tua to make the throws and make the plays, you're not completely dependent on Tua. And that's a major key, because the Bills, unfortunately, are completely dependent on Josh Allen.
Absolutely. Gotta take some of that pressure off.
Absolutely.
See, as I close my eyes and visualize y'all words, right, and I just listen to the poetic justice here, or injustice for some people. The thing here is, for me, it's not just the coaching staff. I think it's a NFL structural issue. Why are we putting so much emphasis on the quarterback position, like the quarterback position is the only position that's going to win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, it remains
It's a
the most
big part of
important.
it. Absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely, there is no question. It's the most important position on the field, hardest position in sports to play. We understand that. But the problem with it is we can't put more emphasis on this quarterback being able to do this more than this quarterback being able to intellectually control the game, intellectually play the position. We don't need you to throw for 300 yards every game. But when we need you to throw for 300 yards, we need you to throw for 300 yards.
Yeah.
That's what the league is transitioning to right now. It's a lot of, one-trick pony quarterbacks, or, we're going to talk about total yardage for the quarterback. What do we talk about total yardage for a quarterback? When did total yardage start to matter? It didn't start to matter until about 4 years ago when somebody won MVP that people are going to think I'm throwing shade at. But that's what the position is transitioning into. So if you want to be mad at me, be mad at me for saying that Lamar set a trend for certain things in the league now. But if you don't have a quarterback that can get you somebody that can do both, that's why
Absolutely.
Deshaun Watson is in such high regards, in my opinion, for me, because if he needs his feet, he can use them, but he's going to stay in the pocket, which we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about him in a minute, because I'm irritated about Cleveland already. It's only 12 o'clock. I'm already irritated. But that's where we at with the league right now. And Josh Allen has to get to the point now where he's able to tell me, hey, I checked out of a pass play here because a run play would have been better. That's where these young quarterbacks are failing. That's the reason why Tom Brady won as many Super Bowls as he won. And that's ultimately the reason why Peyton was one of the winners that he was. Because you understood enough for you to be able to check out of bad plays and to get into good plays. And that's the quarterbacking that we need to see in order for us to start to say, hey, this is the gatekeeper of the NFL now. That's what we're missing in the game now. We're missing the intellectual quarterbacking on that level where we can control the line of scrimmage from the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And that's all I'm going to say on that, because that's a whole rabbit hole.
I mean, Mo talked about that. We talked about that early in the season. You know, the intellectual part of the game is kind of leaving when the Tom Brady's of the world, Drew Brees. So how important is that? How important is it going to be for this next wave of young quarterbacks coming out?
Yeah. Well, I know that the topic of the conversation is the young quarterbacks, but this is where, you talk about Joe and Pat. I don't know if there's a third name you want to throw out there, potentially Jalen, but definitely Pat. This is where he has an opportunity to become that gatekeeper, because again, he's now at the point where the quarterback is making the talent. And I think, just being fair, he might be the only one that's there. This is going to sound No, never mind. I'm not even gonna say it because that it started to formulate, but then we got to like, what the solution would be, and it was like,
Yeah.
nope, reject formula. I ain't even gonna say it. But for Pat, I strongly feel, as much as I love Joe Burrow, I strongly feel he's the only one where the quarterback is making the talent right now.
I mean, bro, I think ultimately, like the quarterbacks with the best intellectual potential are going to still be the ones that's going to finish on top. And that's going to be the Pat
Pause.
Mahomes, whether we want to put Joe Burrow there yet, which I think he's proven he's a very smart quarterback. Like I said, it's early. It's very early. C.J. Stroud is somebody we're gonna have to really study into. Of course, Mac Jones. To me, again, I'm gonna just continue to go until Bill makes some changes. But that offense needs a spark, and it's been like 5 or 6 years there where they haven't had somebody that is like, we must double team this guy, or somebody where the quarterback can really rely on to kind of finish a game. But other than that, yeah, I mean, a lot of these kids are relying on just instinctual, natural gifts, whether it's throwing or running. And I think a lot of that time is going to get them in trouble when it comes to like real playoff football. Right now,
John?
as a matter of fact, Justin Fields, I mean, he blamed the coaching for his, he said he's feeling a little robotic out there. So is that on you or is that on the coaching staff? Guess remains to be seen.
Yeah.
The position is robotic, but never mind. Anyway, with that being said, last thing before we jump into the game, fellas. I want to challenge everybody today to make a 4-week report card, kind of, sort of, and judge the season in quarters and realize that we're in the first quarter.
Fair.
So
very fair.
Let's not make 4-0 16-0. Let's not make 0-4 0-16. Let's leave it where it is. In this period, we did not play very well, and these are the things we need to get better at. That's it.
I mean, again, I think we talk about it all the time. Game is 4 quarters, season is 4 quarters. So there it goes. We ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
So ironically, we've been talking about this game all morning so far. And as the first game on the docket, you got the Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills. The Dolphins are 3-point road underdogs. Over-under is 52.5. Don't think we'll see 70 points again, but I definitely would take the over in that one. Dolphins, relatively healthy. Teron Armstead and Connor Williams are questionable. And then the Bills are without Jordan Poyer, which, again, is a major key to keep an eye on. A lot to say. We've said a lot already. I'll go first. I'll keep it simple on this one. We talked about the contrast in style. We talked about how the Dolphins coaching staff sets up just a better game plan for the offense to execute. They're committed to keeping the running game part of their attack, part of who they are. And again, with that speed, like we talked about, if you want to respect the run, that creates for chances over the top. If you want to put a cap on your defense, that means you're going to have a lighter box and thus more opportunities and more space for the running game to thrive. I really think Miami has built a football team that is catered to beat Buffalo. We saw last year in the wild card, even though Tua wasn't in there, they still only lost by a field goal, and the backup threw 2 interceptions. So I think this is a benchmark game for both teams, but this is up for the season. But this is a benchmark game for the Miami Dolphins franchise. There's been a lot of good things happening over the last year and a half, despite my criticism, despite me not being a fan. Cannot dispute the results. So, in my humble opinion, this is a benchmark game for the Dolphins franchise. And I think they need to come out and fully execute. And I think for Buffalo, it's just the same old Bills. You know, they just can't quite upgrade to a 4.6. Give me the Dolphins by a field goal. Big score, like 34-31. I think was the score last year. You know what? 34-31 Dolphins this time. Vic?
Yeah, I mean, so we got, what is it? It's going to be in Buffalo. A little chilly up here in the Northeast. You know, it's a little different area from that heat in Miami, that beautiful weather in Miami. So, I mean, you know, again, not only were the Dolphins, again, have been attacking people through the air with a lot of horizontal route concepts, but they also, again, with that wide run scheme, wide zone run scheme, Germ, they getting the offensive line going horizontally. And that's, you know, that takes advantage of the speed of the running backs. You got Raheem Mustard, as we used to call him in San Francisco. And then they got the rookie David O'Shane. So these are again just two guys that they added with more speed. That, you know, took complete advantage of that really, what looks to be a really bad Denver Broncos front seven. With that wide zone scheme, man, it was pretty impressive to watch. In terms of the running game. Again, I need to get more to the passing game, but I just think that the Bills, as good as they are defensively, Jordan Poyer is going to be a huge loss in this game. He just controls so much when it comes to over the top and even anything that's going on in front of him. One of the most well-rounded safeties in the league. So that is a big loss for the Bills. So I think the Dolphins are definitely going to be able to pull this off in Buffalo, definitely controlling the clock as well. So I'm gonna go high scoring as well, but I think the Bills get to 27, and Dolphins 34.
Germ?
I'm just gonna keep it simple. I just think the Dolphins are primed to win this matchup at this point in the season. Give me the Dolphins. Give me the over. I think we may see a 100-point spread potentially there with this team. These two teams. I want to see that would be a nice little 54-50 game type stuff. That'd be good energy.
You know what? It would be pretty fun. But they scored 70 last week, Germ. Like
what is the game record again? That there was a whole
73. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah,
I know the Chicago Bears was involved, and they won 73-0.
Wow!
I can't believe I'm drawing a blank.
You say
Bears and
yeah, I forget who they mentioned, but I guess the fans were upset. I guess the fans were upset that they didn't go for that record. Tyreek Hill said as a leader, like, I don't want bad karma coming back to us.
Bears at Washington, the name that apparently you can no longer say. Even though now they got a lawsuit because the people saying it's offensive that they no longer call them that name. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in this world. Make up your damn minds, people. I'm not even talking to them. I'm talking to everybody. Stop being like, my God. Now there's a lawsuit against them.
They want to go back to Ruskins.
Bro. Okay, it was the Bears at Washington. Commanders 73-0, December 8th, 1940.
Damn, bro. But 0 though?
To zero. Anyways, in a championship game, bro. In a championship game. We talking about the playoffs. Okay. Next game, you got the Minnesota Vikings at the Carolina Panthers. Over under is 46.5. Panthers are 4.5 point home underdogs. 4.5 home underdogs. Keep it simple on this. Again, I think the Panthers are still young. I think there's a future there. I think there's a lot for the quarterback to grow and learn, and there's just a lot of things happening in Carolina. And as far as Minnesota's concerned, this is their last stand, so to say. And so I don't think they're going to lose this game, but I still don't have high hopes for Minnesota moving forward. I'm going to go with the Vikings and the over, and I do think they cover. Vikings to cover on the road. Germ?
Vikings.
Vic?
I mean, they have to win, right? They can't go to 0-4 against this not so good Carolina offense specifically. So I'll go with the Vikings. They gotta get that first win today.
Next game is the Steelers versus the Texans. Over under is 41 in this game. It's in Houston. Houston is 3-point home underdogs. Houston is very banged up. Houston is missing some guys who not can block, but were going to attempt to block TJ Watt and crew. And those guys, some of those guys are missing. They're their best players, believe it or not. Of course they are. No beef, no Lombardi. Give me Pittsburgh in a massacre. Not points-wise, but I think Pittsburgh's defense is going to dominate this young rookie. I'm sorry. I'm going to go Pittsburgh 19-0. That's what I'm going to go.
Pittsburgh.
Well, I don't know. I know Taquan and Jaquan got to be – Taquan and Jaquan. Tanya and Jaquan got to be watching 19-0. Shutout. Pittsburgh.
I mean, again, I'm gonna give C.J. Stroud 7 points today.
Okay.
No, scratch that. We're gonna get 7 and a field goal. But no, I mean, listen, that Pittsburgh defense.
Of those 10 points, how many will be contributed by Kenny Pickett?
That's
or do you think CJ is gonna construct 2 scoring drives?
CJ will definitely construct 2 scoring drives against this outstanding Pittsburgh rush defense. Because listen, they have been very impressive too defensively. So I wouldn't doubt they have to. I mean, they should be able to win this game. But I think the Texans will get some points. I don't know nothing about over and under and cover and not cover. I don't know none. I just know deep 2 cover or cover 2. That's all I know. CJ's been so impressive, bro. I think they'll score in this game, even though it might look like they can't against that defense.
Gotcha.
But give me the Steelers to win this game.
I like it. Okay. Yeah. Is Germ there?
I'm here.
Did he pick? He picked the Steelers, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We not gonna waste too much time on.
We're gonna go through some of these games real quick. Rams at Colts, same thing. Keep it simple. I'm just gonna go with the Rams. No particular reason as to why. Wait, they got Minshew. No.
Colts.
Still, give me the Rams.
Wait, so Anthony Richardson is not starting today?
I don't know. Is he? I didn't even look.
I think he is.
See, to show you, I gotta get back. I need more time in my life.
Yeah.
No, he might. Yeah, actually, he's playing. Okay, yeah. Either way, give me the Rams. No Ryan Kelly. For the Rams, seems like most of their guys are going to be playing, and Aaron Donald is playing, which is all I really need to know. I'm going to take the Rams.
I just think that this is going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be an Indy. Give me the Colts for the upset. Give me the Colts for the upset here.
Sure.
I'm taking the Rams. Because I just think the pass rush should be a little bit more interesting. One strength of the Colts now was their offensive line and running game, and now win it all for them.
I think they've been okay. Jaron. We'll see. John Taylor to come back next week, though.
Another one we're going to go through pretty quick. Washington Commanders at the Philadelphia Eagles. Over-under is 43.5. 8.5 points the Commanders are getting. Vic, I know you don't do over unders, but I know you can understand this question. Do you think the Eagles will win by more than 9 points?
Ooh, okay. So what that what is that? That -8? What is it?
That plus 8.5 for the Commanders.
That's what that means.
So basically, when the game starts, the Commanders are up 8.5-0 in the betting world.
Okay. Well, you lost me more there now.
Are they going to win by more than 8.5 points? Are the Eagles going to win by more than 8.5 points?
So why wouldn't that be a -8 for the Commanders?
Because the Eagles are the ones that you're taking the points away from. Thus, you are subtracting.
Okay.
So thus, you put a minus. The Redskins, you are plussing them 8.5 points.
The Commanders.
The Commanders. What I say?
You said the Redskins.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Well,
I
I don't know.
you.
Do I apologize now or do I not apologize?
The lawsuit, you might get it back.
Anyways, go ahead.
I think the Eagles should be able to win this by a touchdown and 2 field goals. So, what is that? Do they
13.
cover? Is it
That's
over?
13. That's presuming that they're gonna just go for the extra point and make the extra point and not miss the extra point, or maybe even go for 2. See, now this is too much. Jeremy.
Yeah. Give me the Eagles.
I started to say the Commanders just to give some insight, but nah, it's okay. I'll just take the Eagles. But I'm not taking. I think 8.5 points is a little high for a division game.
That is, according to how Mo is explaining to me, that does sound a little high. Yeah.
Hey. I mean, I'm not Vegas. Vegas is Vegas.
That's a good point with the division game, even though we just saw the Cowboys beat the Giants a couple weeks ago 40-0. So the Eagles have that kind of potential.
Yeah.
We'll see though. I got the Eagles though.
Next game on the docket. Maybe Vic might want to talk about it a little more. Maybe Jeremy might want to talk about this a little more. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. It is no longer Drew Brees versus Jameis Winston. There's no longer Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. It is now Derek Carr versus Baker Mayfield. That's a main card that you don't want to be a main card. Nonetheless, should be a good game. Now, while there has been a lot of, I want to say, positive talk about both of these quarterbacks this year, I think it speaks to where they both were in their careers, the fact that we're talking positively about them, yet their teams are not averaging more than 20 points in this brand new NFL season. So what exactly are we getting? Are we getting a better Mayfield, a better Derek Carr, or are we getting a more careful Mayfield and a more productive Derek Carr? Not necessarily better, but they are they no longer doing the mistakes that they used to make? I don't know. Either way, I still think both these defenses have playmakers. I still think the Saints have probably the best roster in the NFL, 1 through 52. And so I do think the New Orleans Saints are going to win this game. But what are we getting here? Vic, anything you want to touch on?
Well, first and foremost, Derek Carr was questionable. It looks like he will start. He does have a right shoulder injury. So, will they lean on the running game a little bit more? You do have Alvin Kamara coming back. I don't know how much snaps he will get. So that's going to be interesting to see how offensively what they're going to do. So honestly, again, I like what Baker has been doing. Last week's game was a little questionable, but the previous 2 games he looked top 15-ish. Maybe I'm exaggerating there a little bit, but he was looking decent the first 2 weeks. So I'm gonna give the Buccaneers the edge here, just because I don't know exactly offensively what the Saints are gonna bring with the running game, with the quarterback hurt. I think that the Buccaneers defense has been solid enough to kind of handle that offense. So give me the Buccaneers to win this game.
Germ.
Really simply put, just give me the Saints. I think the Saints have the better team. Better team normally wins on Sunday. I say normally.
Okay.
Give me the Saints.
Normally. Next game on the docket. Speaking of better teams, who is the better team? Denver Broncos at the Chicago Bears. My goodness. My goodness. If there was ever a game that could potentially be the worst game in NFL history, it is this game over here. If there was ever a game that would bring blasphemy and disgrace to the game of football, it's this game over here. If there was ever a game, Vic, where we say this is not an NFL product on this football field,
Man.
it is this game over here. Dysfunction, lack of discipline, lack of leadership are all present on the 50-yard line in this football game. And there is blame to go around on everybody, including John Elway. Okay, he's got to catch some of these strays.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who else got to catch some of these strays? What's his name? Mr. BU, Matt Nagy. And all of them, Mitch Trubisky. I don't know what to say about this game, Vic. I really don't. Because both these teams, both these franchises have a prouder history than what they've been producing the last few years.
Absolutely.
Even with Jay Cutler, the Bears were still competitive. Okay? Jake Plummer took the Broncos to the AFC Championship game. What is happening? Again, are they the Patriots, Cowboys, Steelers? No, they're not. They're not. But over the last few years, really for the Bears, oof. But for the should have maybe one of these people have got to carry Madame Zeroni to the Sweet Onions or whatever. I can't remember the reference. Because maybe this is the Lovie Smith curse.
For both teams.
I don't know what to say, Vic. This is a embarrassment for both these franchises. It is. These are proud franchises.
Last week I asked who's the best college football team. They said Georgia this year. I think Georgia will do a better job, especially with the way they build their defenses. Do a better job than both of these teams right now.
Okay.
But yeah, man. Like, listen, bro. I just Justin Fields, the film right now is looking kind of scary, bro. I want to, if we could get a day where we all can agree to a time to sit down and watch this film and help me see, because I'm just like, wow, like some of the things that he's just not seeing. It's almost looking Zach Wilson-ish. And speaking of a Wilson, you got Russell Wilson on the other side, who last year looked like a lost puppy, like if he was in year one again. Kind of playing better this year now. So when you put all those things together, hopefully Fields can be more productive against this very weak Denver defense right now. But I think that Russell Wilson, being obviously the better quarterback and the veteran quarterback at this point, should be able to help his team score more points than what the Bears produce today. So I'm going to take Denver. But this is definitely, that's one of those games that is just like, I don't know, they should flex it to like 2:00 in the morning or something when everybody's asleep.
Isn't the WWE doing that with something where it's like 6 in the morning?
When they go across the pond, yeah.
Yeah. That's what they got to do to the Bears. Germ?
Yes, sir.
You have any interest in this game? Okay, all right. Oh my God, that's 12:48, bruh. Sorry.
I just want y'all to know I have no faith in Denver. I have no faith in the Bears. Give me Denver or a tie. I ain't gonna pick one because I don't really want to.
If there was ever a game for Denver to get right and be like, okay, this might work, it's this one. Anyway,
Yeah.
these next two games, I'm sure Jeremy and Vic want to spend some time on. You got the Ravens at the Browns. David Njoku with the Jason Voorhees mask. I like it. I dig it. I'll go for it. But y'all better win. You better perform. Ravens at the Browns. Over under is 38.5. Might be a little low, but I think it's interesting that Vegas is putting in that low. And then the next game, Bengals and the Titans, who you'd be more inclined to give a lower spread to, is at 41.5 with the over-under. So, fellas, Ravens at the Browns, Bengals at the Titans, potentially 4 teams that will be there come January in the AFC. Your thoughts? Vic, I'll open it up to you.
I mean, listen, bro, I really don't have much I want to say about this game. Let's just be brutally honest here.
Okay.
The Cleveland Browns have a good enough defense at every level to contain Lamar Jackson in the pocket. And when Lamar has to pass from the pocket, again, you should be able to, they're not going to score enough points, period. Like, 17 points, Germ, 19 points maybe. So the Cleveland Browns on paper look like a better team, have been playing as a better team. So I'm picking the Browns to win this game because, again, I just have that expectation. I think with Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith on the edge, they should be definitely put a lot of pressure on Lamar to perform in this game. So give me the Browns to win this game.
Really simply put, give me Cincinnati and give me Cleveland still. Deshaun Watson is out.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun is out.
Oh, I thought they were
So
saying
who's the
it was
quarterback?
trending.
Germ?
Huh? What happened? What
Who's
I
the
missed?
quarterback?
Who's the quarterback?
Oh, it's the kid from UCLA. What is his name? Dorian Thompson. Dorian something
Yeah,
Thompson.
they said they don't. Let's just put it this way, Mo. They don't have a backup.
All right, well, then give me the Ravens. Raiders at Chargers.
Hold
Jimmy
on.
G is out. Sorry.
Hold on. Bengals for the other game. My bad. Go ahead.
I'm taking the Titans, believe it or not.
Okay.
I'm taking the Titans. I think the Titans will run the ball well. I think Bengals are got a long climb up until they get their groove. Humble opinion. Raiders at Chargers, no Jimmy G. It's real simple. Even the Chargers shouldn't F this up because Vic already used the one F-bomb we have. Vic, on mute. You on mute. Can't hear you.
How did I get there? Jesus. Yeah, Chargers, bro. I mean, like you said, they shouldn't be able to mess this one up.
Yeah.
Chargers.
We're going to skip this one, go back to it at the end. Cardinals at the 49ers. Again, real simple.
49ers.
San Francisco dominant. Vic, yes, thank you.
Yeah, 49ers.
Chiefs and Jets. Again,
Chiefs
going to soar, baby. Chiefs going to soar. And then, okay. This to me is probably the game of the week. Okay, even though Bills and Dolphins early, later on, most definitely, but it might be the game of the week. The New England Patriots at the Dallas Cowboys. A game, in my opinion, where there is pressure, where there is expectations for both teams, particularly both quarterbacks. As I said last week, Mac Jones is on his way there. And for the first time in his career, I feel like he might start marching his way there rather than casually walking. I feel like Bill has a defense that he likes. He's got the right personnel. He's got the right toys. He's got the right versatility. And he's infused some youth into that defense where last year it was even though they were good, it was starting to look a little old. But there's some youth in that defense. I also don't remember a Bill Belichick defense in the last 15 years that has had as many pass rushers as they have. Probably, when Chandler Jones was which prayers to Chandler Jones, when Chandler Jones was approaching his prime before that contract, that was a pretty strong pass rush year. And then obviously in the earlier years, but New England has a defense that Bill likes, and now he's got a host of running backs that he can use, that it can play the type of style that he wants to play. So I really think New England might be coming into their own this year with Mac Jones under center. On the flip side, for the Cowboys, we know what it is. It's Super Bowl or nothing. And last week was just something that we need to all forget about. So just to keep it simple, and because of the time, and to a lot of fellas to have the floor as well, I think this is the slump in the season for the Cowboys, and I think the Patriots are trajecting up. I'm going to go Patriots with the upset. Definitely Patriots with the points at 5.5. Take the over, but I'm going New England with the upset, straight up.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at that too, bro, and it's like, if the Cowboys would have been able to win the game like they should have last week, you can go into this week and say, the Cowboys should be able to handle business at home against the Patriots. But then when you put things together, like you said, that defense, young, they even got some speed. The corners are impressive. Christian Gonzalez has been impressive as a rookie, a cornerback for the Patriots. So it's going to be interesting to see how they line him up, whether he'll follow CD or kind of just, pick a side or something. So when you put these things together, man, you got that Bill Belichick defense with the talent. You got Mac Jones, who, again, I wish they would surround him with some better weaponry. But then you also have the Cowboy defense, who didn't have a great game last week, but have been fairly dominant overall in terms of the pass rush. There's a lot of pieces in this game, a lot of layers, that it made it hard to make a pick. But I think ultimately, as I decide right now, it is definitely going to be the Patriots. Should be able to win this game, but I think it's going to be very, very close. I think it'll be by a field goal, Jerm.
Make it easy. I'm going with the Cowboys.
I like it. Either way, I think we got some good games going on today.
Yeah.
So enjoy the games, ladies and gentlemen. Jerm, you gonna take us home? I don't know. Any final thoughts?
Yo,
Enjoy
film
the
soon.
games.
2-2, baby.